Hello, everybody, and welcome to another awesome episode of Movie Guys Podcast. I am Jordan, and I've been falling for 30 minutes. I'm along here with Eric and Ed. How you guys doing tonight?
That was good.
That was pretty funny. I will give you that one.
I'm chilling, hanging out with my. These are chili cheese fries, Jordan. If you were wondering,
What? Chili
It's-
cheese fries.
it's like just like a thing. It's a thing in Detroit. Detroit is known to put chili cheese on most of its things, on its hot dogs, on its French fries, on sandwiches. It's just a thing that's around here. I don't know if it's a regional thing. I think it is, but I don't know. We have Coney
Bros,
dogs are
I gotta-
big here, so
I got to get you guys some Coney Island or P.O. Lunch chili cheese dogs and chili cheese fries. You got to go. And the Newcastle way of doing it is ketchup, cheddar, chili.
Yeah,
No-
well,
no
And you mix
ketchup.
all that up on a dog with ketchup, cheddar, and chili, and it is fire.
no ketchup in that. That's a lot. That's too much.
Bro, you got to
extra.
check.
That's a lot of
Bro, you got to
extra.
try. Just try one. Just try one wiener with ketchup, cheddar, chili, and I promise your life will be changed.
You know what? Like, I think there's some sort of appeal for there to be some sort of delighted hot dog. I know we're getting off topic, but
That's okay. We're talking about wieners.
I just think that all that shit is just extra, you know, and it's not really needed.
Mhm.
I'm not a fan of a whole bunch of extra, which I don't think this
At least it's not.
movie
At least it's
had.
not Chicago dogs. At least it's not a Chicago dog, which is gross.
Yeah.
nice. But what's not
Pickles and
gross,
tomatoes and shit.
what's not gross is Thor Ragnarok. I
Yeah.
think we all had fun with this movie.
See what you did there.
Yeah, full circle. We all shared the same theater experience. No, we did not see this together, but I can say that we all had a good time seeing this. We were nice and relaxed. And my lord, I was excited to see this movie. I was so excited. I always judge V on my wife's ideal of the movie because us three were movie geeks. We'll watch anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
My wife is just stereotypical moviegoer. You know, if that movie looks interesting, that movie doesn't, whatever. And she is so interested to see Thor 3. So I was like, hey, let's go see Thor 3 today, you know, and we sat back and we kicked our feet up and we watched Thor 3 together. And she loved it every second of it. It was so fun. I actually went back on demand on HBO here and I watched Thor 1 and 2. And my God, was I looking for a lighthearted Thor because the past two movies were dark and gloomy and but boy, was this movie fun.
Yeah, I agree. Like this one was Marvel's hitting the new stride. They really are with just a brand new stride with like this kind of this mix of action comedy. It's working out really well for them. I think they selectively can do dark, like Wolverine, you know, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
actually a lot of the X-Men, because the X-Men does get very over dramatic later on in its franchise and its story. Don't you think? It's very
Oh,
very
yeah, and the themes
soapy.
behind the mutants are really socially dark.
almost Shakespearean, really. So,
Yeah, kind of.
but anyway, this was a lot. It was playful. It was almost like reminiscent of like the Saturday morning cartoons, man, where it was just a little bit a mix, of this playfulness, and it was just really nice to have it. And I really did enjoy it. I think I'm gonna have to go see it again. In
I'm the juggernaut, bitch. I beat you to your own pimp.
classic line, perfect.
Nice.
But
Completely
like,
different
I was
franchise,
excited
I know,
for
but
it.
But
happened.
no,
Yeah.
even like later on in like the first class here with the last X-Men movie, um, even it is starting to have little bits of comedy in it.
Yeah, and I'll say like you guys are touching on how like lighthearted it was, and we all sort of agree there. But it stayed true to the Thor storyline, and it stayed true to the Thor comics. Like I loved how, and they introduced Korg from Planet Hulk, which half of this movie was Planet Hulk, which I loved that concept.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, you and I have talked about that privately before. I think maybe we've done so on the air too, but we love the idea that they added Planet Hulk and Korg. Yeah, maybe he's a little bit funnier in this movie than his character was meant to be, but like
Yeah.
they held true to him in Planet Hulk. So it's not like it was just randomly lighthearted, random jokes. I mean, the story moved in a great direction, and I think that we're sort of getting the Hulk trilogy that we wanted in these Thor movies, or excuse me, this Thor movie plus Avengers. So I
Wait,
think that they're adding a couple of things in there.
I thought that they were. Was this your word, Jordan, through your research or elsewhere? That this is just kind of the Kickstarter, the grease on the wheel, if you will, towards the Hulk franchise, towards
Well,
his next 2 or 3 movies that are coming up.
that was me.
Yeah.
That was me. Like this movie,
I'd called it that. Yeah.
according to Mark Ruffalo,
Yeah.
was
Yeah. It's coming
this
back to me
movie was the start of a 3-film arc for the Hulk that includes the final 2 Avengers movies.
now.
So
Okay.
this one and then Avengers, Infinity Wars 1 and 2 are a 3-story arc for the Hulk.
Oh, so he's not. I get you. So it's not his own. It's just spanning over the three, arcing
Right.
over.
We're not getting a Hulk trilogy specifically, but story arc. Again, this is according to the actor, but it has a 3-story arc in the next 3 movies. This movie and
Huh.
then and the next 2 Avengers.
I wonder why they're deciding to do that. It's like they're taking what would be 2 different movie ideas and they're making them into one movie.
Well, maybe it's just because the last Hulk movies were just awful. You got
Eh,
you got Brokeback Hulk with the Ang Lee version. Then you had Ed Norton's version, which was good, but
This is
it doesn't
better.
fit the rest of the
It was
story.
it was an
Yeah,
improvement.
right. But it doesn't fit the rest of the story.
Right.
So now we're getting this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, whatever. I think that Hulk is more of an ensemble character now. He fits best as an ensemble, and
yes, I totally agree.
so I'm curious to see now because this might be a spoiler. If his story, the Hulk's story, is going to overlay into the Marvel Cinematic Universe throughout the next movies, whether it be through the Avengers or whatever have you. Because how his story ends in World War Hulk is that he kind of just takes over the Earth. He kind of just he becomes unstoppable and just kind of wrecks everybody.
Yeah, I don't think they'll go that route, but maybe.
We also get the
Maybe.
introduction to what's that what's that fucking mutant's name? Sentry?
Which one?
I don't know.
Sentry. Yeah. Yeah, here it is. Sentry. Sentry is like the man, bro. His power is amazingly like he's so amazing that pretty much all he wants to do is just sit on his couch and not do a damn thing because he doesn't. There's no limit. He can't control it. He once he goes up, it goes. He can't come back down. He's going. You know.
I don't remember Sentry in this movie. Maybe really missed a key point. Maybe I fell asleep or something.
Not in this movie.
Oh,
No, I'm saying in the. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself in the Hulk storyline.
mm. Okay, well let's sort of go back to this movie. Like we're introduced to Thor, who's fighting uh, basically the Ragnarok. We get a kind of funny scene, and Hulk basically, or not Hulk, I'm sorry, Thor basically says, "So what you're saying is I need to take your helmet and beat your ass, and then I can defeat you and
Hold on, hold
save."
on, hold on. I need to turn around. I need to turn around. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. And then and so and then he defeats. He basically stops Ragnarok, which is the Armageddon for them, and then he was reintroduced to Loki, who's now pretending to be Odin. You know, I and then we see a cameo of Matt Damon, by the way, as actor Loki.
Yep.
I loved that. That was pretty sweet. Um, and
And
really kind
Liam
of
Hemsworth, the younger
yeah.
Hemsworth, or was it? No, it was the other Hemsworth, right?
Was it? I didn't see him as Thor, but if that's the case, that's kind of funny as well.
Yep.
I thought that was kind of cool, like how they introduced Loki. Like he knew it wasn't Odin, and the moment there where he threw the helmet and said, "This, this," or shoot through his hammer, said, "This is coming back to me," and the whole crowd shocked when Loki shows back up because Loki's dead according to the play.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
But
sorry.
the one thing that I want to complain about, because we're getting to our spoilers here, I want to complain about one thing, and that's Kate Blanchett. Is a wonderful actress. I like her in majority of stuff that she does. I mean, she goes full out on her characters. So when I heard that she was casted as the villain in this, I was excited to see what she would do. Unfortunately, though, my gripe with this movie is that she is not used hardly at all. I mean, like they established that she is the firstborn of Odin, which means she's the rightful heir of the throne. She's Thor's sister, biological sister, not Loki's biological sister. And they don't do anything with her. They just have her in a few scenes. She kicks she kicks ass a few times, but other than that, she was kind of a bland character for me. Did you guys feel the same way?
Well, yeah, yes and no. Yes, because I agree with everything that you said. Um, no, because I feel that her death, nobody, no death, and I feel that she might come back, especially because um, her and Thanos have a thing. Thanos has a kind of a keen thing for her.
Hmm.
So I think that might have to come into play. So that's what I think.
Maybe
I think. I don't know.
maybe she turns into zombie Kate Blanchett because they did bring zombies into this movie.
Yeah, but I don't know if Kate Blanchett will come back though. I just, I liked her costume. I liked her attitude. I liked her acting. She was very good in the movie. I want to make that clear. I just kind of wish they did more with her because she did something that nobody's ever done before. She broke Thor's hammer. He doesn't have a hammer at all in this movie. I mean, like that's a big deal.
Yeah,
And it's
well,
like
he uses it.
it's yeah, I just
Hmm.
wish they did more. Well, little two side notes here that I was reading. So I went home and I was reading IMDb about it. So one thing is the reason why this movie is so lighthearted. The new director of this movie, and this is on IMDb credits. So anybody who is listening, please of course fact check me. But on IMDb here, it says that 80% of the lines were all improv. That's why we
What?
get the that's why we get the hold on, I'm turning around scene. That's why we get the Loki saying I'm falling for 30 minutes. So that's kind of fun to know. And then also another one that's kind of sad but kind of cool. But the line that was in all the trailers and also in this movie where he goes against the Hulk and he says he's a friend from work is because that was a little kid. I don't know if it was a boy or a girl, but a little kid who was unfortunately for a Make a Wish Foundation was on the set to visit, and the little kid told Thor, "Hey, it'd be funny if you say this line." So
Aw.
he did it. So he did it, and that's why he says the line with, "Hey, that's my friend from work." And
Yeah, and he says it with
yeah,
that accent. Oh,
yeah. So that's just two little fun facts that I read about this movie that I thought was very, very interesting. So I'm not a big Marvel guy. I'm more of a DC guy. So if you guys could help me out here, this is Planet Hulk mixed in with other Thor mythology, right? I mean, this is Planet Hulk.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like Eric, you might be able to explain a little better. What Planet Hulk is basically like the Hulk. It was like it was a recent thing too. It's not like it's a legendary series. Is that the Hulk goes ape shit, and it's no longer, and Bruce Banner doesn't exist anymore, and he becomes his wife gets killed, and he ends up getting captured by this alien race, and becomes their champion, like becomes the champion warrior, and then just destroys the whole fucking planet. Like he just goes off and destroys the whole planet. So it's cooler than that. I mean, Eric, you can go into more detail on it. Like it's just a great, it's a great
Well,
overall
I
story.
think pretty much. Yeah, he went apeshit on Earth one time, and the Avengers were just like, okay, this dude's kind of a liability.
Mm-hmm.
So they knocked him out and they threw him in a spaceship, and they're just like, we're just gonna send you to the fucking far end of this goddamn universe. We found this planet that's just like a real chill place for you, dude, and we're just gonna throw you there. So get the fuck out of here. We think you'll be peaceful there for the rest of your days.
Did you
Because he just
guys
committed to doing that. But he gets knocked off course or some shit like that, obviously, and he goes to a gladiator planet. Starts from the bottom, rises to the top, gets a posse, dude. Fucking gets a wife, gets a kid, you know.
just like Drake started from the bottom? Now we're here.
But then then he starts calming down because he's got a wife and kid, and he's just like, oh, I'll find deeper meaning in life, shit like that, some
Yeah,
dumb shit.
yeah.
His posse's just like, well, no, we don't like that shit. We're about you taking over like everything. We let's do this. And so they blew up his spaceship, which blew up the planet and killed his wife and kid. Hulk got
This one.
real fucking pissed and then went to Earth with his posse and just started killing everybody.
Well,
Yeah,
speaking
takes
of
takes fucking over.
get the fuck out of here moments, let's talk about Jeff Goldblum. So I want to make this clear. I love Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, he's tight, huh? He's a good
The
character.
I mean, The Fly and Jurassic Park, those two movies right there. Thank you, sir. You never need to act again in your life. I appreciate it. However, though, it was like, what is Jeff Goldblum doing in this movie? And what is with that blue painted goatee?
I
Like,
like it,
what
dude.
the fuck?
Grandmaster, just the way that he's a cool guy.
Reminded me of the Hunger Games, just reminded me of like, oh, they're trying to do Hunger Games in a way with the
Oh, for
way that
sure.
this world. What I
Well,
mean?
what Jeff Goldblum played, and it's a major story in this movie. Is there's a dude called the Red King in Planet Hulk, and like that's the planet that Hulk gets, basically, he's forcing to, we're just like sort of forcing to being the slave, and that's Jeff Goldblum. They don't call him the Red King. They call him what the Chancellor or something, the founder, whatever the hell they
Grandmaster?
call him, Grandmaster. That's it. And like the Red King is much more diabolical than the Grandmaster, but like at the same time, like that's the character he played. So they sort of changed a few things to match something else. And then we're introduced to Korg, like I'd said, and Korg plays a major role in Planet Hulk because he's this sort of like revolutionary dude, right?
Yeah.
Who he tried to overthrow his people and failed, and was also exiled to that planet. Becomes a champion, a warrior, and then ultimately leads the rebellion and resistance against the Red King. Like that. So that's sort of, they held true to that concept. This movie is more Red Planet with Thor being the main, or with Thor, excuse me, not Red Planet, Planet Hulk with Thor being the main character as opposed to the Hulk.
I'm curious to see how they will address it later on in the other series, in the other
Mm.
movies. It's just going to be. I enjoy it because you know what? I was a hard critic in Man versus Steel or Man of Steel.
Mm.
What the hell is Superman? Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Never keep on
Well, yeah.
forgetting whatever the fucking movie was called.
If I remember right, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Silver Surfer like save the slaves and like Korg and the Hulk?
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, like instead, like in this movie, it was the Valkyrie,
Oh yeah.
but it was a Silver Surfer, if I remember right.
We're not getting
Like
a
he
lot of
come,
crossover stuff, and that's
yeah.
not
I'm
until
ge-
later.
I'm so I'm so disappointed that the Fantastic Four the movies have been horrible because like Silver Surfer does some shit, and he's not in this franchise because the Fantastic Four movies were horrible.
Yeah, it's really bad. I think it's just fucked up, man. That
Hmm.
all those universes are it's in the same world. Like how is that? Like
Yeah.
how would that not be scary to you? Is the apocalypse? You tell me why do we have the Avengers when there's mutants everywhere, man? It's,
So Jordan, yeah, Jordan, move us along a little bit. Like, okay, so let's get to the escape. Let's get to the escape where Hulk is now a civilized Hulk. Like he's not really constantly pissed,
Yeah.
and he doesn't really help Thor escape, but he doesn't stop him. Like they become sort of buddies. He remembers him, and he's like, "You're not my friend. You're Bruce Banner's friend. So don't, I want to stick around here. I kind of have a following." And there's a Valkyrie in it who's an alcoholic, and then all of a sudden Thor appeals to her patriotic side and says, "I need help killing my sister."
yep.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that's pretty much. I don't need to tag along. You already took it there. I mean, like we skipped over Doctor Strange, which I was surprised
That's
he was in this
true.
movie.
Nice.
Yeah,
It
he
was a
didn't.
nice
He
little
didn't need to
split.
be.
Well, no, I mean it's one of those reminders that I think it's one of those fan services that Marvel likes to do to just remind you that this is all in the same world.
Hmm.
You know that these are just the story that keeps
Yeah,
on going, and I thought it was pretty
which was
cool.
fun for me.
Doctor Strange is, I mean,
It was very
obviously,
fun
as
for
you
me.
can see with all the portals and shit, like he's a pretty cool dude. Like that's why I
Yeah, I
think
know.
he's probably one of the top tier superpowers
Oh yeah,
in the Marvel universe there. So
and you bring up a good point. Like this movie, like the scene where he's drinking the beer, where Doctor Strange constantly refills the Hulk's beer,
hmm
is one of the deleted or extra scenes in the Doctor Strange movie. So they a post credit scene as a scene in this movie, or maybe I'm just thinking of one of the trailers, but I thought it was one of the extra scenes, if I remember right, from Doctor
no,
Strange.
I remember it now. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
it.
so like that's the first time they did that. They crossed over exactly. Like so they tell you the timeline of how everything happened.
Yeah,
You know
and
what? I remember now. I do remember now because he's looking for Thor's looking for Odin, and at this point in the movie where they're bringing Doctor Strange, and I remember now one of the scenes is, so you're looking for Odin, I can tell you where to find him, and that scene is in this movie
hmm
exactly.
Hmm. Well, I mean, okay, so then, what's her name? Valkyrie. Her name's Valkyrie.
No, she's a Valkyrie. I don't remember her name.
Okay, well, she's a hot chick. That's what I know. And
it's always good to have one of
and
those in the
she
movie.
right, and she's kind of like a scavenger kind of thing, but she's also part of Asgard. How's she part of Asgard?
She's
Well,
she's
the
developing.
Valkyries were the warriors, like the last stand, like the saviors of Asgard, right? So you got Thor, who's the thunder god, and his brother and sister, who are gods of whatever. But they're the most powerful warriors, but they're not the army, right? So the Valkyries are the elite. They're the SEAL Team Six of Asgard, and
Okay.
when Odin is basically decides he doesn't want to take over the realms anymore. He's already got control of them. He wants to be a peaceful leader of them. she the sister, whatever the hell her name is, Hela. She decides that she wants to take over and be the dictator, and he's like, no, 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 and he knows he can't beat her, so he sends the Valkyrie army to go defeat her, and ultimately he has to trap her.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand now. I was just curious about how that one
Yeah.
worked.
And the one Valkyrie, she's the one Valkyrie left, so she ran away.
By the way, I had a question. I watched Thor 1 and Thor 2 in preparation for Thor 3 for the review. What happened to Natalie Portman? They didn't talk about her in this movie, did they?
Well, they bring it up slightly when they're looking for Odin in the retirement home that Loki was at, or Loki dropped him off at, and says, you know, I'm sorry, whatever her name is, broke up with you, and he's like, she didn't break up with me, like it was mutual.
So that's how they wrote her off? Really? That's gay. Okay.
Yeah.
It's really bad because I liked her in the Dark World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's bad.
She got
That's
dumped.
really bad.
Well, whatever, man. You can't bring her around all the time.
Well, you know, Natalie Portman doesn't want to come back, right?
And then this was also kind of a different story because this was a story that was more interdimensional and took place on Asgard. Like it was a story about Asgard, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we really didn't need to see
Asgard
much
is
of...
not a place; it's a people.
Oh, you're right. Bam. Yep, he's
Oh.
right.
But okay, so like we obviously know that she's taken over Asgard. She's killed all the on the ground army. There's no Valkyries left to help defend Asgard, or there's no Valkyries left to help to defend Asgard. And Thor simultaneously has re-escaped through the Devil's anus, by the way, which is fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
With Loki, who had by this point had garnered favor with the Grand Master, and and so they all finally escape, and except for Loki sticks around and helps, and Korg helps him, who started the revolution. Korg helps him, go back to Asgard, where now we get to the major battle, which was fucking badass, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got Thor fighting his sister Hela. You've got the Valkyrie assisting him, but basically more like a support. And then the funniest scene in the movie, in my opinion, is when the Hulk's been Bruce Banner's been in the movie now for this about half the movie.
Right.
No longer Hulk.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
And Valkyrie wants to know who he is. Why are you along? Where did you come from? So he pops up and says, "Hey, you want to know who I am? Here I am. You're about to find out." And he jumps out of the plane in front of this big bad wolf, right? So in about 15 to 20 seconds later, he lands on the ground dead because he hit the ground
Like a
hard
rag doll.
because he wasn't the Hulk. And the wolf stops and just sort of looks at him and sniffs him and kicks him.
Yes. That part was hilarious. That part was hilarious. Because my wife and I are watching the movie, and Bruce Banner's like getting all epic, and then of course the crowd is like, "Yay, this is happening!" And all of a sudden, a little speck, like an ant, just breaks every bone in its body. It just falls out of nowhere. It was absolutely hysterical. And then they do a close up, and his one arm is over his back, completely shattered. He's dead. And
Yeah,
it was
absolutely
amazing. It was awesome to see this guy go. Like all he needed was that goofy laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when he's falling, like woo! When he's falling.
No, it was a cool scene. I liked Carl Urban in this one too.
Scourge.
Yes. By the way,
Bones.
this is the first time in the Marvel Cinematic Universe where Luke Ferrigno is not the voice of the Hulk.
Oh, really?
Really? I thought maybe he was.
No, this was the guy who plays the Hulk now. That's
Mark
his
Ruffalo.
voice. Mark Ruffalo's voice.
Hmm.
So Ragnarok happens. That's the only way you can defeat.
Hela.
Oh shit! What did they call her?
Hela.
Well, yeah, Hela, but they called her something.
She's the god of death.
God of Death.
Breaker of Chains, I think.
Yeah, that's the only way you can defeat her is actually have Ragnarok happen.
Mother of Dragons, Queen of the Unsullied.
I'm assuming this is a Game of Thrones reference. So.
Yes.
Just gonna back away from that one. No, but I mean, but ultimately though, before we get into our final, is it worth it or not worth it reviews here? I mean, it was really fun to see, the comedic side of everything, but it was also fun, like we said, to see Bruce Banner get just absolutely just destroyed, commit suicide. Uh, but am I the only one that's getting tired of Loki, or is it you? Is it just me,
Oh,
guys?
it's just
I'm
you.
asking.
It's
Is it
just you.
just
Yeah,
me?
you know,
Absolutely. Be,
I'm cool with Loki.
Okay.
I think he's a
l-
necessary evil. I like him.
you
Okay.
you got to remember, and Eric, you can back me up on this. Loki is the link between the Avengers and Thanos. He's the link. So
Okay.
like, and before we get into it, I want to talk about the key mid credit scene, not the end one, which is where Jeff Goldblum takes credit for the revolution. I'm talking about the one, the mid credit scene where where Thor and Loki are like, well, you're sure you want to go back to Earth? Yeah, I mean, I guess we don't really have a choice to go back but to go back to Earth. So the ship that he encounters is obviously Thanos's ship, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you remember from the first Avengers, the reason Loki stole the Tesseract was because he was contacted by the middleman between himself and Thanos, the other, right?
Okay.
So he steals the Tesseract as his thing, and because that's his job in the whole thing. Thanos wants the Tesseract because he needs the Infinity Gem, right? Or the
Okay.
Infinity Stone. So at the end of Avengers 1, when they take the Tesseract and Thor says, "I'm going to take this back to the vault." Then they're like, "Well, what are you going to do with Loki?" And Loki basically says, I don't remember what it is verbatim, but he basically says, now that he knows I've been beaten and he doesn't have this thing, no matter where I go, he will always find me." And that's when Thor says, "Well, let me go lock it in the vault so he doesn't know it's there."
Oh damn. Okay.
Well, at the end, okay, so flash forward to this movie where they send Loki to go get the helmet. I can't remember the character's name, but the big giant devil fucking guy made out of lava that brings Ragnarok, right? So he runs into the vault where Thor's locked it away,
See if I can
and he
get the
stops for a
name.
second. What's that?
I said I could probably get the name Surtur.
Yes, yeah. So he's getting his helmet where he was already established he
Thor.
gets his power, right? And he stops for a second and smirks and looks at the Tesseract.
Yeah.
And so he takes it knowing he has to give it to Thanos and that this is going to be his only opportunity to save himself is to give the Tesseract to Thanos. So he stops and looks at it, and we now have to be implied that he stole the Tesseract. And so he does his thing. He does what Thor tells him, so that they destroy Asgard, right?
Good
So
call.
all
By the way,
the what's that?
it's a good call. Good catch, by the way.
Oh,
But
okay, yeah.
good.
So he looks at it. We're to be implied that he stole it because it was about to be destroyed, and you need an Infinity Stone to move the rest of the story along. So cut to the next scene after Asgard is destroyed. The vault is gone, and we're on the mid credit scene where they're in the ship, and Thanos' ship is there. So now the rumor is that the opening scene from the new Guardians movie, or excuse me, the new Avengers movie, is the Guardians of the Galaxy are flying around, and all of a sudden Thor is flung on their windshield.
What?
So that brings back the previous thing about how the mid credit scene from the last movie is in the very beginning of the next movie, where Doctor Strange is saying, "I know where Odin is," and then it's in the first 45 minutes of this movie. Well, apparently the opening scene and maybe I could be wrong about where it's at, but it's rumored that the opening scene is that the Guardians of the Galaxy are flying through the universe for whatever reason, and Thor hits the windshield of their car, or excuse me, their ship.
And
So now
why is he hitting the windshield?
because I mean, we're going to be told exactly, but I'm thinking that Thanos, now that the Tesseract is out and he found Loki, and Loki, he basically destroys the ship, flings Thor wherever, just so happened to land on the Guardians of the Galaxy ship, right? And now he has Loki and the Tesseract. So that's going to be the first part of the movie.
All right.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So like they're legitimately tying these all really fucking close together, and it's huge. Like this is the first time they've even come close to doing this shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. I'm excited because obviously the Guardians have one too, right? Or the purple one.
Yeah, the Guardians have them all to a certain degree. I don't remember where they're all at, but now I mean Thanos doesn't have any now until the beginning of the next movie. So if I remember right, I could be wrong. I mean, please tweet at us if I'm wrong. But if I remember right, like that's sort of how the story goes. Is that is Thor's introduced, and he's the one that gets the Guardians back to Earth because he says I need to go to Earth to do this because I just saw Thanos and got flicked like a booger across the galaxy.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
So
That
we
would
need
be
to
dope.
yeah.
I'm excited for any and everything right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was.
Oh yeah, absolutely, I am.
Yeah.
But
So
what I am is Ed, is Thor Ragnarok or not worth it?
Well, I absolutely think this movie's worth it in every single sense of the word. Like it's PG-13, so it's kid friendly. My only gripe with the movie is Jordan. I agree that they don't have enough Hela, and they don't, and it's not quite dark enough. But that's because we're adults reviewing a kids movie that has to do with comics.
yeah.
So that's not real. I mean, it's a gripe, but it's a bullshit gripe. So I think honestly that absolutely this movie's worth it, hands down. They're starting to bring the end of the story together, and I'm super pumped. Like this movie pumped me up for Avengers because of everything that I just spent the last 45 minutes talking about.
Nice. Okay, great. Eric, is Thor Ragnarok worth it or not worth it?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely worth it. I just had a lot of fun with this one. It was just a fun story. It moved forward really good. The director is one that I like. I've liked before. Everyone, if you like this movie, the director, he's got a kind of that dry kind of New Zealand Australian sense of humor. He did The Hunt for Wilder People, which was a good movie, or What We Do in the Shadows. That was a good movie too. Um, so those are fun movies to check out. But he knows how to do kind of a good timing for comedy. He knows how to kind of make it funny, and I think this was actually a pretty good movie for him to do. And I would hope that he could come back and do something like this again. I mean, the movie just paced well. It was just funny. All it was entertaining. I mean, yeah, it was just I'm okay with it. And completely worth it. I would probably even go see it again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, this movie's a worth it too. From the past month and a half of just crap end of the summer movies that we've been getting, we finally got something that's really fun to come back to. Something I'm looking forward to own. Wow, I never thought, because when the first Thor movie came out, I was not interested at all. But now this movie's good, and I'm excited for it, and I cannot wait for the next movies because I don't think anybody's going to count Black Panther, right? Black Panther is just going to be made because it is, right? I mean, Infinity
Well,
Stone, Infinity War is what we want.
I mean, Black Panther's going to be a good story, I think, because I've always liked Black Panther.
Maybe. We'll have to see when it comes to that point. But we do want you guys to check out other episodes just like this one. Check us out on movieguyspodcast.com. Also on movieguyspodcast.podbean.com. On Twitter, search for @movieguyspod. And on Facebook, Movie Guys Podcast. Other than that, Eric and Ed, thank you so much for joining me. And we'll be back next week for another awesome episode of Movie Guys Podcast. Have a good night, guys.